Well, thanks, Mr. Chair, and thanks to our witnesses, too, for the work you do. I really appreciate the increased effort by VA to fill vacancies in the Veterans Health Administration. Just been talking about some things, and I agree with my colleagues. We should be looking at new ways, things we've learned from the pandemic, if we can. But I wanted to drill down on a bill that Senator Braun and I worked on that was signed into law. In 2021, we passed the Bipartisan Hire Veteran Health Heroes Act, and it was signed into law. It directs the VA to recruit and hire Department of Defense medical personnel who are transitioning out of military service for open positions at the VA. Can you discuss how implementation of this is going?
Senator Hassan, Ms. Bongiorni's team has been implementing that bill, so I'm going to ask her to answer the question.
Great, thank you.
Sure, and thank you for that bill. We are very supportive of it and have taken it very seriously in implementation. We are working closely with DoD. We have a direct marketing campaign that we use based on the occupational code of people transitioning out, where we send them messages and encourage them to come work for us. We have also established a new physician provider recruiter position at facilities, and those are the people who go out to different military installations and pitch VA as an employer directly to people when they're transitioning out. We also have a dedicated location on our VA Careers website, not to be confused with the bill, that directs transitioning military members to come work for the VA.
Are you seeing results?
We are. So right now, the physician provider recruiters are a new position, and so we're waiting to see the impact of that. But we do anticipate that we'll see more of that as we have that boots on the ground support.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Ms. Therrett, in response to a letter that I led last year, the President's pay agent recently expanded competitive locality pay to areas of New Hampshire and Vermont that struggle to recruit and retain federal employees. These areas include the VA Medical Center in White River Junction, Vermont, which provides services to many veterans living in New Hampshire. How does expanding competitive locality pay help VA recruit and retain highly skilled workers in rural areas, including at rural VA health facilities?
Senator Hassan, we are members of the Federal Prevailing Rate Advisory Committee, as well as the Federal Salary Council, and we are always looking to opportunities to promote the locations where we are seeing that our wages are not keeping up with the salaries in that area. So we welcome the opportunities to, both in those forums and other forums, bring forward areas where locality pay is lagging or efforts need to be made to address those. The one challenge that we have with our wage grade workforce is that work is done by our Department of Defense colleagues, so we need opportunities to both leverage the Federal Salary Council as well as the Federal Prevailing Rate Council so that we can find pay equity across the board, not just with our GS general schedule positions, but also with our wage grade positions. So we welcome opportunities to work with you and other members where those locality pay areas need to be adjusted and bring those locations forward in those forums.
I'd look forward to following up with you on that, because it's obviously a critical issue, not only in my area, but I think for a lot of the members of this committee and for our constituents and veterans. I want to switch topics a little bit. I frequently hear from Granite State veterans about how much they appreciate their VA nurses, their doctors, their caregivers, but far too often they have to get care elsewhere because we've had real infrastructure issues in New Hampshire. Failures, not just issues. The VA Medical Center in Manchester is more than 70 years old, and its facilities are inadequate and frequently fail. Twice in the past year, Manchester VA Medical Center closed portions of its campus because of burst water pipes, and that's forced veterans to go elsewhere for care and reduced available treatment spaces, obviously, for clinicians. Can you discuss what impact infrastructure failures like these have on recruitment and retention challenges that we're all talking about today?
Well, Senator, I think that the wage issues that Tracy mentioned earlier really are where we can speak to that, and making sure that the people who maintain those facilities, some of them quite aging, need to be paid effective wages. So we have boiler plant operators, HVAC operators, engineers, folks who maintain the facilities. We need to be able to pay them fairly to keep the facilities running.
But look, I will tell you that no matter what your skill as a facilities manager, when you have pipes that have been soldered with different materials that are not particularly good for cold weather, for instance, you can be the best manager in the world, and we really need to upgrade these facilities. And in my experience, having done a fair amount of HR-related work, people look at what their workspace is going to be like and whether they're going to have the modern tools and spaces they need to provide excellent care. And in New Hampshire, that's getting harder and harder for our clinicians to do. So as you get feedback about that as a factor that people may be considering in their decisions, that, highly sought-after clinicians are going to have choices. And it seems to me that if we are providing them with very old infrastructure where they can't be guaranteed that they can give quality care to patients, that's going to be a recruitment problem. Thank you.